Okay, so when they're working on this and estimating, they're going through and they're creating a proposal or a contract. So here we're looking at this proposal and this contract here, and this has got all of these items in it, and this is what they're presenting to the customer. The customer signs off on it, and they go through and they hit the approve button, and that generates the project. Once the project's created, then they go through here and they create a budget. So it's creating a temporary preliminary budget for the project. And the numbers from those, the numbers and the items of the budget are what are shown here on the schedule of values. So you're going to have a budget line item for general conditions that's got $1.1 million in it. Permits that's got $211,000 in it, right? Does that sound familiar?
Yep.
So we can see that now that we're on this. Now I'm going to jump back and look at that project. Oh, and I'm going to go to the project, the budget analysis tool, and we'll see exactly what we just saw there. So here's our general requirements, and here's these accounts right here. Now, you as a project manager, you might want to manage your project costs differently than what they're showing on the schedule of values. And that's exactly what you mentioned to me, right? This doesn't work for me.
Yes.
So what you need to do is you need to go through and you need to add new budget accounts. So I'm just going to kind of make this easier. I'm going to remove this grouping so it shows all of the accounts here. And now I'm going to filter it so that only shows where division equals 01 dash. And I'm going to apply that. Well, that didn't work. I guess I did a bad filter. Let's do it again. Division contains 01 dash. Apply. Get rid of this one. Oh, that filter doesn't work very good. Okay. Anyway, so here we have, let's say we want to break this account out into other details, right? So what we need to do is we need to add new budget accounts to this budget. So all we're going to do is click the button to add new budget accounts. We're going to select our project. So it's Julian Heights. This is the one we want to add budget accounts to. Here's our customer. Here's our contract that we're dealing with. And we need to associate these costs to a cost on the contract. We can't just create budget accounts and not associate it to a cost on the contract. Otherwise, we'll just be collecting all the costs and we won't know how to bill the customer. So we want to associate. Question?
No.
Okay. So we want to associate all of these items to the general condition schedule of value. And we can create as many budget accounts as we want, and we're going to bill everything to this general condition. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, I want to add some new accounts. I want to add, and here's all my general conditions. I can click this button up here and I can group them by division. And I can see a listing of all of my general requirement accounts that I have in the database here. So I can see we have payment procedures and permits and temporary utilities and whatever, So now what I'm doing is I'm selecting all of the accounts that I want to put on this project. Well, I don't need to put 100. We'll just put 2. I'm going to select those accounts, and it tells me I'm going to put in these 2 accounts, and we're going to bill to this. So I'm going to hit copy here, and now it's going to open up a new window. So this is just going to show me, if we look at our breadcrumb here, this is just showing me the accounts that I copied. There's 2 of them here. But if I want to see how that affects my whole budget, if I go back to the budget, and now I group by division, and I look at my general requirements, I'm going to see that permits was already in there. Some of these might have already been in there, but here they are. So here's these 2 accounts now that have 0 budget values with them. So far, so good? Now I need to take some of this money and I need to allocate it to this because we need to set a budget value for it. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to say, I'm going to take money out of this account. I'm going to go action and make a budget adjustment. and I'm going to take $15,000 out of my general conditions account. Here's my original budget, and I'm going to put it to whatever I want here. This one. It has no budget, and I'm going to turn it into 15,000. And my reason is, I don't know, beginning balance or, budget adjustment or whatever you want. I mean, you may not have a reason in the beginning, but you're going to make that adjustment here. Now, when we look at this, we're going to have our permits. Here's, now we have our different amounts here. He still has original budget value of 0 because it didn't come over from the prime contract, but we made a $15,000 adjustment to it. So now our revised budget is $15,000.
Gotcha.
So now we have, this is what our budget is. So now we have this new account here that we can actually code costs to. We can create subcontracts for this. We can write invoices to this. We can, all of our costs can now be, your expenses can be recorded into this. And when we go to do an application for payment, it's going to roll up to that general conditions value. When we make it, we'll see, oh, here's some of the costs from all of these items that we created. They're going to roll up into that SOV on the contract. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
So here's the issue we're dealing with. Brenda's going to contract. She's creating that contract just like they've decided to win that job. And then somebody needs to go in and generate the budget. Now, she actually, there's a little bit of internal debate, like who's going to generate that? Is Kyle going to approve it and then generate it? Is Tammy going to do it? So this is some of the issues we're dealing with. But when that budget's created, it comes over just like it went to contract. And then it's up to the project manager to create the additional counts to make it fit to how they want to manage that project.